back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. Reminder of our top stories. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu is optimistic about resolution of election sequence controversy, promises to probe underage voting in Kano. Civil society organizations begin campaign to sensitize citizens to participate in voter registration exercise. President Muhammadu Buhari meets with some APC governors, visiting him in his hometown Daura in Katsina State. And Special Investigating Counsel indicts 13 Russians for allegedly interfering in the US 2016 election. Just a quick reminder to you that for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. And log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device, or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. Another candidate has indicated interest in running for the governorship of Ekiti in the July 2018 poll in the southwestern state. A former federal lawmaker, Senator Ayo Arishe, stated his intention to run on the platform of the All Progressives Congress at a rally in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, today. Senator Arishe, who represented Ekiti at the National Assembly between 2007 and 2011, boasted that he has what it takes to unseat the incumbent party at the poll.
The streets of Ado-Ekiti welcome a political bigwig. It's the campaign train of Senator Ayodele Arishe. He is received by supporters at the APC Secretariat with cheers from the crowd gathered outside the premises. The event inside the Secretariat sees the attendance of party executives, party officials and women leaders in the state. The man of the moment, Senator Ayo Arishe, then addresses the people concerning his desire to run for governor.
I want to say that I'm coming to declare this intention today. Having looked at the journey I have had over the years, and having succeeded in escaping alive from the dens of kidnappers, I decided that all I need to do is to dedicate the rest of my life to the service of my people.
The party's leadership formally welcomes Senator Arishe as the 32nd aspirant, with a promise to work with him even while he campaigns.
We don't have anointed candidates among all our aspirants, and we are going to conduct a very free, fair and transparent primaries.
The senator insists APC has what it takes to wrest power at the polls.
We will drive him, we will defeat his nominee, or whoever wins the ticket of the PDP. I'm sure that the only reason why I'm able to talk to APC as a member of the family is the fathers and one of the foundations of this party.
Senator Arishe has officially made his intention to govern Ekiti clear. His supporters will now be keen to see him pick the ticket at the primary and then contest for the governorship in the July election.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Makwe Ogun Yusuf. Makwe?
Hello, Ijeoma. Some campaigners for the passage of the NotTooYoung to Run bill are asking federal lawmakers and President Buhari to complete the process of signing it into law within the next 30 days. The campaigners, who addressed a news conference in Abuja, insist that further delay in assenting to the bill could jeopardize the chances of young people who want to run for elective positions in 2019.
So, Mr. Speaker, let us continue with the vote. Not too young to vote and not too young to
It's been over 7 months since both chambers of the National Assembly passed a bill to reduce the minimum age requirement for people seeking elective positions. Since then, the campaign moved to the states as campaigners intensify their advocacy to ensure that the bill is passed by at least 24 houses of assemblies as required by the Constitution. With an overwhelming acceptance of that bill by 25 states, supporters of this bill at this press conference in Abuja are hopeful that the coast is now clear for young people who are seeking elective positions in the 2019 elections.
We recognize this as a progressive step towards opening the political space for young men and women to participate in electoral politics. As a movement, we are determined to vigorously mobilizing young people to participate actively in the electoral process in building up to the 2019 election as candidates and voters.
The age reduction bill, popularly referred to as the Not Too Young to Run bill, received affirmative votes from 25 state houses of assembly. The passage of the bill by the states is historic and unprecedented. This will no doubt enhance the quality of Nigeria's democracy.
However, these supporters of the proposed legislation still have another hurdle to cross: the transmission of the bill from the states to the National Assembly, as well as the presidential assent before it can become law.
We're giving both the state houses of assembly, the National Assembly, and the President 30 days to conclude on the ongoing constitutional amendment process for a couple of reasons. Millions of Nigerians out there are actually waiting for the finalization of this bill so they can commence their campaigns for the 2019.
If the Not Too Young to Run bill is eventually signed into law, a 35-year-old can run for presidency, a 30-year-old for governorship, while a 25-year-old can contest as a federal or state lawmaker. Political observers are looking forward with much anticipation as to how this bill, if passed into law, will indeed affect the composition of those seeking elective positions in 2019.
We're talking security. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the killings of 18 persons in Birain village in Zurmi local government area, Zamfara state. According to President Buhari, quote, "The perpetrators of all these senseless attacks on innocent and defenseless Nigerians in all parts of the country will be made to face the full wrath of the law," end of quote. The President has also directed the Minister of Defense, Brigadier General Mansour Dan Ali, to proceed immediately to the state to undertake an on-the-spot assessment of the situation. A teenage girl has been rescued from the hands of human traffickers by the Nigerian Embassy in South Korea. The 14-year-old was received in Abuja by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa. Mrs. Dabiri Erewa explained that the victim was trafficked to the Asian country by her relative who was using her for forced labor. She narrated how the victim escaped into the hands of South Korean social welfare, who handed her to the Nigerian embassy.
I want to thank our embassy in South Korea for this initiative of social responsibility and ensuring that this young girl got back to Nigeria. They handed over to me, and I'm handing her over to a very comfortable and relatively secure shelter, courtesy of NAPTIP. And you see, this girl is a case of family maltreating family. I mean, at 14, what she probably doesn't know is they were waiting for her to, maybe a few more years, maltreat her. You know, she was working and giving the money to her sister without taking a kobo of her own. She wasn't going to school. And then subsequently, they would have just, you know, turned her into a prostitute. So by the embassy doing this, they've saved this girl's life. But one assurance we will give is that we're going to ensure that she's well taken care of. She wants to go back to school, and she will go back to school, go back and do her go to primary 6 and again to JS1. So we will do what we will do as the President has instructed and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, that any Nigerian in distress will be taken care of. So thank you, our embassy, our ambassador in South Korea, for making this possible. And it's instructive that she is one of many. Child trafficking is getting more rampant. You're having members of families taking little girls abroad, and they go there to suffer. You know, so the more cases we have of this, I'm sure the Nigerian government will be willing to solve them, especially for young children, as we have just seen here.
While also regaining their freedom are two members of the Joint Action Committee of the University of Lagos non-teaching staff who were arrested on Thursday. Their colleagues earlier today staged a peaceful protest to demand the release of the arrested members. Our correspondent Mary Alale Yusuf reports.
It's peaceful but intense. The Joint Action Committee, comprising non-academic staff unions, NASU, the Senior Staff Association of Universities, SANU, and the National Association of Academic Technologists, NAT, is angry that two of its members, Joseph Adefolalu and Adekola Adetomiwa, both past chairmen of SANU, have been arrested and detained. The group says it's been quiet in spite of unpaid allowances, but the arrest is one insult too many.
It is no longer news to us that two of our leaders were picked up in the middle of the night, around 12:30 a.m. without any offense, and he categorically told us that the arrest is an order from above.
For the unionists, the arrest is unlawful.
What the police have done yesterday amounted to nothing but gross illegality. To embarrass them, to harass them, to torture them. I'm talking of psychological torture that's even worse than physical torture.
The strike started with grievances over allowances released to the unions by the federal government for 2017, which they say were inadequate and unfairly distributed.
23 billion was given last year. 18.4 billion was given to academic staff, while 4 billion was given to the three non-teaching staff. So that is the problem.
In spite of several attempts, the Vice-Chancellor could not be reached to ascertain why the union members were taken. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara deplores the non-completion of Ajaokuta Steel Project as a national shame. Do join us again.